I thought you said Donnelly was coming straight back.
I thought he was, sir.
Where is he then?
I really don't know.
And what's on his calendar?
Nothing.
All day?
Well, he's had a lot of work to catch up on. He's been away.
I have to see him.
Would you like to come back?
No, I'll wait.
Can I get you another cup of coffee?
No, thank you.
Nice, aren't they?
Who do they belong to?
Mr. Hines.
The man that works for Donnelly?
Yes.
Where is he?
Well, I believe he left town, sir.
When?
A little while ago.
Where was he going?
I don't know.
Then how do you know he was leaving town?
Well, he had a suitcase.
And you don't know where he was going?
No, sir. Just a minute, sir. You can't go in there. That's Mr. Donnelly's personal communications
Not
room.
to
It's
me.
not- I'm sorry.
Are you
sir.
trying to tell the police commissioner that he can't go in this room?
I promised Mr. Donnelly...
I intend to go in that room, even if I have to arrest you first to do it.
Jimmy Lee, we had a wonderful time, but we really have to go.
Oh, come on, have another drink.
Well, we don't drink.
Well, what's the hurry?
Well, the babysitter can only stay till 5.
And the twins got to be fed.
How are they?
Oh, they're wonderful, thank you.
Hey, have I shown you the latest baby pictures?
At least 5 times, honey. They're very adorable.
Hey, they take after their mother.
Well, fortunately, they have Brian's temperament, though.
Parenthood seems to have agreed with both of you.
Well, that's the best thing that ever happened to us, don't you think?
Next to meeting you, dear.
Jimmy Lee, thanks.
Well, are you sure you don't want to go out to dinner or something?
What, miss having dinner with the twins? I can't tell you the thrill it is to have smashed carrots thrown at you.
Can we give you a ride home?
Oh, if you could drop me off at Robert's office.
Sure.
Great, thank you.
That's great. We really enjoyed having you.
Nice
Take care, huh?
Thanks, Julie.
I enjoyed it. Hey, we all won, right?
This is Scorpio. Now listen to me. Check all the aliases that I gave you. And put an immediate priority on it. Have that report telexed into my computer. Right.
Ramsey here.
Have you put up that APB I asked for?
Yes, Robert. The whole city's covered and the surrounding areas.
Any word?
No, nothing so far.
What about the airports?
I got men checking them, bus depot, train stations. No sign of them.
You may have driven.
Well, I've got roadblocks set up on all the major highways leading out of town. Still nothing.
Damn it, this is our hottest lead so far.
Robert, what does Donnelly have to say about this guy?
Well, he hasn't come back yet.
I wonder what information he's got on him. After all, the guy did work for him. You'd think he would have checked him out.
You'd think so. Believe me, whatever this guy Hines is doing working for Donnelly is precisely the first question I intend to ask him.
Then go ahead and ask, Robert.
Oh, hello, Holly.
Hello. Where's Robert?
He's out.
May I ask where?
I don't think I can tell you.
Why?
I can't.
Is Robert all right?
Well, he's busy.
Yes, I know.
I can't even tell you when he'll be back.
Well, I can wait.
Holly, I wouldn't wait for him.
Why?
Well, excuse me. Ramsey. What? Oh, damn it. Oh, stay with it. That's the hottest lead we've had so far.
What's going on?
I'm not at liberty to say.
Bert, why are you acting like a cop with me? Is it about Tony?
Holly, I really can't say.
Oh, for goodness sake, it's not like I'm going to tell anyone.
Look, if Robert wants you to know, I'm sure he'll tell you.
I wouldn't be so sure.
What can I say?
Probably a great deal.
Holly, could I give you a little advice?
About what?
Robert?
Well, if it'll explain his strange behavior for the last 24
Well,
hours.
it just might.
Yes.
It might. It's just that things that are happening right now are getting pretty close to the bone for Robert.
I don't understand.
Well, some things have surfaced that are really getting to Robert personally.
What do you mean?
I shouldn't have said anything.
No, wait. I'm
Holly-
concerned about Robert. I don't understand what's going on. There's something troubling him, and I want to help.
Well, you can. By being patient, and just don't ask too much of him right now. Most of all, don't make waves.
In what way?
By wanting to know what's going on.
But if I know what's troubling him, maybe I can help.
Holly, Robert's got to get through this on his own. Why don't you just go home and wait for him?
And say nothing?
It's the best thing you could do. Things are happening right now that I think are going to be pretty unpleasant for Robert.
I'll leave my office for a little while and come back, and what do I find? Hysterical secretary in my office in an upheaval. What's going on, good buddy?
Why don't you tell me?
Never seen you like this, Robert.
I'm not sure I've ever felt like this.
Using my communications room? Why?
I made a few calls.
About what?
Business.
You know better to not use my room when I'm not here. What if a message had come through from the WSB headquarters?
I'd have taken it for you.
It's classified.
I'm good at keeping secrets. Perhaps not as good as you.
Meaning?
Meaning, what do you know about an employee of yours, name of Hines? Does he wear cowboy boots? Like these?
Surely you realize you're not dealing with an outsider.
Pardon me?
I mean, Robert is my husband.
Oh, there's no doubt about that, Holly.
Well, then there's no need for you to be secretive with me, is there?
No need at all.
Then why don't you tell me?
Tell you what?
Bert Ramsey, less than 2 minutes ago, I distinctly heard you on this very telephone say that there's a hot new lead to whoever it is who tried to kill Tony.
That's true.
Then tell me who it is.
Holly, you know that I can't do that. Now, why don't you just go home, and when Robert gets there, whatever he wants to tell you, that's his business.
Nice try, Bert. But forget it. Robert's going to come here first, and this is where I am going to be.
Then why don't you sit down and make yourself comfortable?
Yes, I do recognize these boots, Robert. These are ones very similar to them, belong to Hines, my production manager. Have you arrested him?
It is getting late.
Oh, I'm sorry. Were you talking to me?
Nothing important.
Oh.
I was just saying it's getting late.
Late for what?
Well, not for anything special, just late in the day.
Oh, I see.
When most people are heading for home.
Bert,
Yes?
forget it.
Holly, you certainly don't make it easy for me.
Now, come on, Bert. When have I ever made trouble for you?
Well, I just wish you'd understand my position.
Oh, I understand your position perfectly. You and Robert are trying to collar whoever it is who's trying to kill Tony.
Well, that's right.
Apparently, something is going on. Naturally, you can't talk about it, not even to me.
Thank heavens you do understand, finally.
So something is going on. I was right.
Oh, Holly, excuse me. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, all right, well, tell the man at the airport to check the flight manifest. All flights going out of Port Charles. After that, have him question airport personnel, the cab drivers, anybody around there, see if they recognize the identification of the suspect, and then get back to me. Very good, thank you. Holly, I really think you should go home. This could be a very, very long night.
Do you think Robert would suggest I go home?
Oh, I'm sure he would.
Well, I don't think he would. Why don't we call him and ask?
Holly, wait a minute. Why don't you take my word? I know Robert. He wouldn't want you to hang around here.
Yes, but I know Robert, too, and I know he would want me here.
I don't think so, but I'll tell him that you were here when he checks in, okay? Better idea. Why don't you write him a sweet little note, and I'll give it to him when he comes in. Here's pen and pad.
You're very accommodating, Bert, but I really would rather tell him myself. Could you ring him for me?
Holly,
You do know where he is, don't you?
Robert and I are always in direct communication.
Meaning you do know.
I can't say.
Then you don't know.
I mean, I can't tell you where he is. Loose lips sink ships. What I'm trying to say is, Robert might not like it.
Rather a strange question, though, isn't it? I mean, why would you think that I'd have arrested him?
When you walk up to me carrying a man's boots, I assume the worst.
They are his boots, then.
No doubt about it. After all, they aren't running the mill, are they?
That's right. But I'm still curious. Why would you think that I'd have arrested him?
Because it's just a matter of time, Robert.
Before he takes a fall?
Yeah, because he's ripe for it. That's why I fired him.
When did that happen?
Just this morning, as a matter of fact. I found some money missing from the office. Hines was the only one on the premises. Naturally, he denied taking it, of course, but I knew it was him who took the money.
Large amount?
Well, enough to warrant getting rid of him. Coffee? Any more questions, Commissioner?
I'm just curious.
So am I. What's this all about, anyway?
Your former employee might be involved in the attempt on Tony Jones.
Oh, come on, Robert. Hines? Are you kidding? Strictly amateur night.
Maybe. But you did say that these boots were unusual.
Yes?
The man that wore these boots tried to kill Tony.
Yeah, but I still think it's... What you're trying... Yes. Oh, yes, Bertie is. Yeah, hold on. It's Captain Ramsey for you.
Yes, Bert?
Sorry to interrupt you, Robert, but we've got a lead on Hines.
Well, that's good news.
Well, not exactly. He took a shuttle flight from here to New York.
And?
Well, the flight got in a little early, and our men missed him at that end by about 5 minutes.
So he's off and running.
Right.
All right, look, I'll be back to the office shortly. Now, when I get there, I want to call a few friends in New York, see if we can beef up this search for him.
Right.
I won't be long. You happen to have a photograph of Hines?
No. Sorry, Robert. Any other way I can help?
No, not yet, but I'll be in touch.
All right. Robert.
What?
Look, I hope we can forget about that little do we had earlier.
Yeah, I guess we both caught each other at a bad moment.
I thought exactly. That business about the communications room, I guess it was just a knee-jerk response. Protecting it with my life and all, you know.
Well, you are the organization man, aren't you?
Habits die hard.
So they should.
But you do know that I want to help with this Hines situation as much as I can.
Of course.
And we'll both keep in touch, huh?
Absolutely.
Okay, buddy. See you later.
All right, now, after you check our files, check with New York. He may have a record there. Hopefully, they may even have a mugshot.
Now, if New York does pick him up, do you want him held on an open charge?
Anything. Anything at all till we can build a case on him. Of course, I first have to place him at the hospital at the time of the incident.
How can you do that?
Preferably with a witness who can give a positive ID. You recall that when we were at the hospital, I said that I wasn't acting like or thinking like a WSB agent.
Yeah, right.
Right. So when I started to think that way, I decided to substitute the dummy for Tony on the stretcher.
Yeah, just after the power failure.
Right. The mob of patients came streaming into emergency, and shortly after that, we had the smoke. Now, none of that could have been a coincidence.
Including all the people who got suddenly ill?
Including them.
Well, then, couldn't Hines have been one of those people, I mean, that got ill? Or couldn't he have been pretending to be ill in order to get into the hospital?
Yeah, Robert, that would have worked.
Yeah. You're right. And I know who might have seen him, either Felicia or Frisco. They were patients at the emergency room at about that time. Try Kelly. See if Felicia's there.
All right, you want Frisco, too?
Yeah. Find him, too, if you can.
Could be it.
Maybe.
Yeah, hello. Oh, Felicia, I'm glad I got you there. This is Captain Ramsey Police Department. Oh, no, it's nothing like that.
Coffee.
No. No, it's just that Commissioner Scorpio would like to talk to you. Yes, that's right. He'd also like to talk to Frisco. Do you know where... Oh, he is? Oh, that's fine. Well, tell him to stay there, and the commissioner will be over to talk to both of you. Right, thank you very much. Frisco's at the diner, too.
Good. Listen, Bert, check with New York, will you?
Yeah, I'll make that call from my office.
Good.
One thing that I haven't got straight yet is, what made you suspect Hines in the first place?
These. I got a glimpse of these boots when I was pushed up against the wall by that stretcher. Now, Donnelly confirmed that they belonged to Hines.
You know, there's something about these boots that rings a bell with me, too.
Hmm?
Do you remember Mariah saying that whoever it was who tried to harm her and Laura at the hacienda, he was wearing red boots?
You know, she did.
The same boots that Luke gave to Laura, made by the same bootmaker.
You're right, my dear. You are bloody well right, my smart little genius. Hmm?
Oh, who are you calling?
Mariah.
Do you think she'd be able to identify Hines?
Hopefully. If she can, and she can place Hines, it's going to link in a whole lot of people. Thanks for waiting. Can we sit over here?
Right, anywhere you like. I won't be busy for about another half an hour or so.
Huh?
Don't you think we should all sit at one table? Frisco, why don't you join us?
Good idea. All right. I'll get straight to the point. As you know, I'm conducting an ongoing investigation into the attempt on your brother's life.
We know that with very few results.
The results aren't final yet. However, I do have a strong suspect.
Who?
Before we go into that, I'd just like to mention that this is an official police investigation. As such, everything...
We already know that, Robert. Who?
This is precisely the sort of attitude that can't be tolerated. Now, I do have a suspect, yes. And I may or may not be able to prove that he's the person I'm looking for. That is, with your help.
You want us to help? How? I don't know anything about catching criminals.
No, but you do know who you saw and what you saw.
And if either of you saw the suspect...
You still haven't told us what is this guy's name, Robert. That's all I want to know.
Matt Hines.
The one who works for Mr. Donnelly?
He did.
What do you mean he did?
Sean's fired him, but that's not your problem.
No, my problem is why he tried to kill Tony, what the whole story is.
As I
Hines?
said, he's a suspect. However, there is something else you should know about him.
What?
When we were all in Mexico together, it's quite possible he was staying at the hacienda.
At my grandmother's?
I called her before I came here. She's flying up tomorrow.
Mariah's coming in here tomorrow.
Yes, she arrives at noon tomorrow.
Well, that's wonderful, but she doesn't know anything about Matt Hines.
No, but I'm hoping you do. Now, I want to reconstruct every move that you made the day of the incident at the hospital.
Robert, why would this guy have attacked Tony? Why?
We don't know that he did yet. First, I have to place him on the scene. And the big question there is, how did he get into the hospital in the first place?
Oh, well, that's easy.
You mean you know?
Yeah, I was there. We both were there.
Wait a minute here. Back up a little. We were both there. We were where?
We were at the student union when everybody got sick. Matt got sick, too, and we went to the emergency at the hospital.
Felicia, are you absolutely certain that you saw Matt Hines in the emergency room at the hospital?
Of course I'm certain. We were at the student union. We all got sick together. You remember.
Well, I remember being there, but it was crazy. It was all the
Well-
confusion. I don't know.
Well, I'm certain. I not only saw him, but he confirmed it the other day.
You mean you've spoken to him since?
And it was at Sean's office. I said I was in the emergency room, and I turned around and looked for him, and he was gone.
What was his response to that?
He said he wasn't as sick as the others and that he didn't want to be treated, so he just left.
Okay. You said you've seen Hines in Donnelly's office. How often?
Several times. Why?
Because the more you've seen him, it means the more you're going to be able to recall. Now, at this point, what I want you to do is probably establish a log of every time, every recollection that you were ever together.
It's usually better if you put that kind of log down in writing.
A log? This is crazy. If you know the guy tried to kill my brother, why don't you arrest him? If he doesn't tell you anything, beat the hell out of him.
Frisco, look. That's not the way it's done. You do that in movies, perhaps, but not real life. Now, look, police work is about 90% dull, monotonous, boring routine, and a ton of paperwork to boot.
Paperwork, like the log you want us to write.
Exactly. Your best recollections of the both of you, singly, that you ever spent with the suspect.
I still don't see what good that is going to do.
Didn't you say that you wanted to help nail the person?
Well, of course, Robert. You know that.
And trust me, will you? This is the best way to help. Now, you get a book or a piece of paper, whatever, and write everything down. When you got it down, call me.
We'll do it together, right away.
Frisco?
All right, whatever you say.
Good. I'm going over to Donnelly to check on Hines' alibi. Can I drop you home?
Yes, please. You know, you'll be surprised how much more you remember when you start writing it down.
And listen, include everything, no matter how small or insignificant the detail. Put it all down. I'll be waiting for your call.
We'll do our best.
Bye, darling. All right. What would be of most help right now would be to establish what Hines was doing the day of the hospital incident. Now, he was still working for you then, wasn't he?
Yes, he was.
Would your work records show what he was doing that day?
Well, I think they should, Robert, but let's find out for sure, huh? Linda, call Mr. Morgan in the warehouse and have him find Professor Estevez and have them both come up here. Tell them to bring the logs, the work logs, for the past month or so. Right, thank you. I'll be right here, Robert.
Thanks, I appreciate this.
Oh, that's all right, no problem. Yeah, as a matter of fact, I've been thinking. Felicia dropped in the other day and mentioned to Hines that they were both in the emergency room together the day that all hell broke loose.
Was he in ER?
Well, he said he was. Also said he recovered fast and left.
Where did he go after he left the hospital?
Well, he told me he came back to work. Well, we'll find out whether or not that's true when we see the logs. Ah, here we are, gentlemen. You remember Commissioner Scorpion, of course?
Why are you? Professor?
Linda said you wanted the work log.
Yes, I did, Sam. Do you recall the day that Dr. Jones was attacked at the hospital?
Yes, I recall it very well.
All right, would you check that day in the log and see whether or not Mr. Hines was working that afternoon?
He was not.
He wasn't at work? Are you sure about that?
No, the log says he was absent.
Actually, I remember particularly he was not there this afternoon. Because the next day when I asked him why he was not there, he told me he was sick and he looked so healthy to me. I remember particularly saying to...
Excuse me, Professor. Sam, would you please check those entries one more time, please? Make sure they're correct.
Well, it's all right here. You see, I was supervising that day, and I initialed the entry.
If you initial it, what does it say exactly?
Well, it shows that Estevez and I were on the job all afternoon.
What about Hines?
He left at 11:10 in the morning, and he never came back the rest of the day.
Can you give me a copy of that whole page?
Of course, Robert. Right away. Linda, would you come in, please? Thank you.
What on earth was that sound?
What sound?
That sound you just made. It sounded like a dying gasp.
No, you got it all wrong. That was the sound of unbridled delight. You have a great pair of hands.
I know. That's why you married me.
Actually, there were two reasons.
Oh. What was the other one?
I'll tell you later.
Hmm.
I needed that.
Well, Tell me about Hines, that guy Hines.
Well, he didn't have an alibi the day that Tony Jones was attacked.
Oh?
Also, he lied to Felicia about going back to work after the emergency.
Sounds like this Mr. Hines is going to have an awful lot of explaining to do.
A whole lot. You know, I reckon if I can pin this on him, I can solve more than one puzzle. I mean, apart from Tony being attacked, we've also got Peter and maybe Van.
And before even that, you're smoothing out some rough edges, aren't you?
What?
I mean, you're sort of playing Cupid.
Moi?
It's Felicia and Frisco.
What about him?
Now, come on. Don't be ashamed just because you're the sentimental type. It's one of the reasons why I love you so much.
Well, I'm delighted, but what have I done?
Telling those two to write a log together, really.
I was serious.
Oh, I know. But if they accidentally get back together again whilst they're doing it?
Look, it's just an every ordinary day occurrence. Yeah.
Well, if they do get back together again, guess who's going to take all the credit for it?
Who?
You.
Really?
Yeah.